Welcome back to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. My name is Lydia. I'm a wedding photographer at Lydia Rachel Photography and your host. Super exciting episode today, but I wanted to say at the top that I have just released tickets for our next in-person event in Auckland. It is on Sunday the 31st of August in the city, and I would love to see you there. We've got an amazing panel of guest speakers, amazing drinks and food, a chance to meet other brides going through the same season and vendors as well. And guys, the goodie bags are shaping up to be incredible as well. Honestly, just come for the goodie bag. I can't wait to meet some of you there, and I hope that you find community and a bit of help on your planning journey also. I'll pop the link for tickets in this episode's show notes, and you can also find it linked in the bio on Instagram. In this episode, I'm sharing my chat with the lovely Anika. She's not only gorgeous, but she just has a really beautiful energy about her. We are actually kind of related. My dad and her grandma are cousins, which makes me feel old. I think I've got a good decade on her. But yeah, so lovely kind of reconnecting with Anika, and she actually came to my event that we had last year with her mum. So that was so nice, and then to see how her wedding turned out and chat about it today was just really lovely. We chat all about her love story from high school sweethearts to a kind of unexpected proposal, what their whole wedding planning process was like, finding the dream venue. Anika is the owner of Skye Beauty, so has worked in the industry doing bridal makeup, and she also offers spray tans and some lash and brow treatments as well. So we also chatted about that side of things, her business journey and the services that she offers. I would say Anika was a pretty organized bride who created slideshows, timelines, and Pinterest boards in her planning journey. So I loved hearing about that whole process, how she still wishes that she had an on-the-day coordinator, and why you shouldn't skip on the content creator. Anika and Beckam got married at the Black Walnut venue. Really beautiful location, and their photos by Honey Lens are gorgeous, so make sure you go over to Instagram and check them out. I'd love to hear what you think of this episode, so feel free to leave a comment on Spotify or send me a DM. Enjoy episode 106 with Anika. Hi Anika, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. Excited to chat all about your wedding and being a vendor too.
Yes, well, thank you for having me.
Yay. So to get started with, I'd love for you to just tell us a bit about you and your husband, how you guys met, and your life together.
Well, we actually met back in high school. We were 15 when we first met, so little babies. We actually found out though when we started dating that our families knew each other from way back before we were born, and his uncle was like my dad's best friend in high school. So it kind of felt like it was fate, and his nana was always like, I actually held you as a baby. So
Oh,
it felt like we all kind of knew each other, which was cool. I remember going home and like telling my parents, oh, I'm talking to this guy, and they're like, oh, what's his name? I'm like, you won't know him. And then I told them, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's not him, is it? And so that was really cool. But yeah, we started dating when we were 16. We met through mutual friends, my best friend to this day, and she's still with her partner, who was friends with Beckam, and they set us up on a little jet ski date. And yeah, history was made from there. We both, like, I guess, so he is a police officer and I own my own business. We both do very different things, but we have a lot of, I guess, similarities, and so we get along in that way, and we just kind of grew together as we got older.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Such a sweet story and very like classic New Zealand. There's some connection back here. Yeah, crazy. Oh, so good. So you dated for a while, then got engaged. Can you tell us a bit about the proposal story?
Yeah, we got engaged in 2023. It was actually just after a little bit of a hard season. We had a couple sad things happen in the family, and we were like, let's just go away on a little weekend it was so not organized or planned. Like I booked the accommodation and everything, so I was not expecting anything to happen. And we just thought, we'll have a little time away at the beach, have some time for ourselves. Little did I know that he was planning something, and he told me that he actually had the ring for that whole year beforehand, and he was just finding the right time. I guess he found that that weekend was the right time. And so we booked a night away at the Trinity Wharf in Tauranga, stayed there for a night, and I was like, oh, this is so fun. We can have like a night in at the hotel and order room service. And I had my little robe on and everything. And he was like, no, we have to go out and do something and go out for dinner or something. And he's not someone who likes to go out. He loves to stay in. And so I was really confused. And he's like, I'll choose your outfit and everything. I was like, what are you talking about? And little did I know it's because the ring was in our suitcase. And so I was like, oh, fine. Like, I just had a shower. I was all nice. I didn't want to put makeup on or anything. And he's like, get dressed up. We might go out. So got dressed up. We went for a little drive to the beach. It was super quiet because it was August. So there was like no one, which was really nice. We just kind of had it to ourselves and sat down. And then he started talking a lot about like our relationship and how far we've come and all this stuff. And I was getting really nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you going to say? And then he got down on one knee and popped the question, and I just started crying. Tears like were just pouring out of my face. I couldn't stop. I think I was in so much shock too because I wasn't expecting it, especially because we were so young as well. I was thinking, yeah, he's not going to do it yet. We'll, wait for a couple more years. But it was so perfect and so beautiful, and it was just so nice having us two there and no one else on the beach. And we called our parents straight away on the beach and watched the sunset. And then we went to the liquor store and got a bottle of champagne to bring back to the hotel, which we still have the bottle. We've kept that. And it was just a really nice weekend. And we spent another couple of days at another little Airbnb and like walked around the mount. And it was just nice, I guess, having that little time together, and so unexpected because I always know when there's something happening. So I liked that I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, so sweet. I love
Yeah.
that story. So you were like, yeah, not necessarily expecting it. Had you been one of those girls that thought about your wedding? Did you have a kind of vision in mind? And yeah, what were those sort of first steps, deciding on a venue, all of that?
I definitely always thought about my wedding since I was a little girl. I didn't know it was going to happen as soon as it did. I didn't expect that it was going to happen either when he did pop the question, but there was moments previous to that that I was thinking, oh, he might pop the question, he might ask, and nothing happened. So I was like, okay, I'm just overthinking, as we all do. I remember the night before the proposal, he was leaving for a night shift, and he was like, enjoy your last night. And there was a gap, and he was like, before we go away. And I was enjoying my last night before I'm engaged. And then, like a week before that too, he was talking about we got to save our money and all this stuff because we were wanting to buy a house. And like I was obviously getting my nails done every month. That was my thing that I did. And then the week before, he's like, oh, you should go get your nails done. I was thinking, one, he never asked me to get my nails done. He just said we have to save money. And now he's saying you can go and get your nails done. So I know he only did that because I would have been upset if my nails weren't done. So there's little things like that. But then I was just like, oh, I'm just overthinking again. It's just adding to everything else that's happened in the past. But it was beautiful, and it was really nice calling our friends and family. So yeah, I didn't expect it, but there was little moments like that. And we did know that we wanted a long engagement because we were so young as well, and there was no rush. We really just wanted to enjoy it. And I think sometimes, hopefully, you only get engaged once. And we just wanted to be engaged for as long as we could. And I thought, maybe 3 years we'll be engaged before we get married. And then I started looking at ideas and stuff, as you do, because you're so excited about what's to come. And then he was getting excited, and we're like, oh, maybe we do it a little bit sooner. So we did only wait like a year and a half before we got married. But I did really like that time before we got married because we had, I think within that first 6 months, we had our engagement party, and we were planning for that. So that was something fun to look forward to. And then we had a whole year where we could just kind of chill out and be with each other. And then I didn't want it to be stressful at all either. So we just did little bits and started talking about it until I started researching venues. And I realized you had to book in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So that kind of was good in a way because it gave us a date and meant that we could work around that. But yeah, that kind of made us like, okay, we have to start planning if we want it to begin. I was researching, I did all the research for the venues as you do. I was researching for a couple of weeks on Google, Instagram, all sorts. There's quite a few good sites that have a lot of beautiful New Zealand venues. And so I found the one that we booked. So we went to Black Walnut. It was the first one that I wanted to see in person. It was between that and one other. The price difference was quite different between the two I was looking at. But I pulled Beckam out of bed one morning and I was like, we're going to go view this venue. And he was like, do we have to? I was like, yes, let's go. So we drove to the mount. I was like, we can make a day trip out of it because we live in Cambridge. And he was so unenthused. And then when we got there and we walked around and we met Dan, the owner, he was just like, oh my gosh, this is the place. We have to get married here. And that was quite surprising coming from him. Like he was like, I'm actually so glad you took me here today. And the venue was just beautiful. It just took us away. There was so many options that you could get married in. There was wet weather options. It was a beautiful sunny day when we went as well. So I think we looked in January. So it was kind of that summer month when you would want to get married in. So it was nice to kind of visualize what it would look like. And the venue owner, Dan, was like, so do you guys want to book or not? And we're like, yep, let's just do it. It was the most spontaneous decision on that day, like in that moment. And he had one cancellation because we knew we wanted to get married in either March or April where it wasn't too hot, but still nice and warm. And we both love autumn. He had one cancellation. So we're like, okay, we'll take it. And it ended up being the weekend of the 14th of March. And for us, our dating anniversary was the 14th of February on Valentine's Day. So we knew that one, that'd be easy to remember. You can't forget our anniversary. And also it was just a nice number and it felt like it was meant to be when we did that. So that was really cool. So we found that way easier than I thought, apart from all the research I did.
Got there though. Yeah.
It just fell into place.
Oh, I love that. It's always so interesting to hear that process and how you like landed on it. But yeah, I feel like actually going in person and just feeling the vibe, you just know. So yeah, so
Definitely.
good. And yeah, what were the kind of top priorities for you, the most important things when planning your wedding day in terms of different vendors or vibe? Yeah.
Well, we actually, a couple months after we got engaged, I think, it was like 6 months after the engagement party, we were like, okay, we'll start thinking about it. We sat down and wrote a list of all of our priorities. He wrote his, I wrote mine, like 1 to 5. And I heard it from your podcast because I was listening to so many episodes before that lots of people did that. And it was such good advice because it kind of showed each other what was really important to us for that day. And luckily our priorities were quite similar. I had a little bit more to say.
Fair.
But we were like, this is it. We narrowed it down to 3. I think it was food, photography, and venue. And that was before we saw the venue. And so the venue was like, we knew that was perfect. It was great because it had accommodation on site. So it meant that me and my bridal party and my parents could stay there the night before and the night of. They had parking. Everything was just amazing. So venue was great. We ticked that off. And then, other 2 priorities were photography and food. And that was because I feel like so many people talk about the food when they talk about a wedding, right? And
it's
it had
the
to
memorable
be good.
part.
Yeah. So that was definitely a priority. And then photography, obviously. Also for me as a creative person, I love photos and videos and all that stuff, but also looking back at those moments, I feel like is so important because once your wedding's over, that's what you have to look back on your day and you have that for the rest of your life. So that was definitely a huge priority for us.
have to agree. Obviously, I'm biased on that point, but yeah, your photos were gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, another beautiful part for you was your dress. Can we talk about wedding outfits a little bit? How was that process for you, finding it, getting it made? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was the most amazing experience ever. I had this picture in my mind of what I wanted my dress to look like for so many years, and then it changed, and then it changed, and then it changed, as you do with trends. And then when I got engaged, all the ideas that I had in my head like went out of the window, and I was so clueless. I had no idea what I wanted to wear. So I was looking through all the Together journals. They were super helpful, seeing what other brides wore in the past, especially for people in New Zealand. It was really helpful to see what there is around. And I knew I didn't want to travel too far, obviously, for fittings and things like that. So I actually booked in for Head Couture and Astra Bridal. And because I had no idea what I wanted to wear, it was really good doing both of those. Astra Bridal was so amazing. I tried on so many dresses within the hour. I don't know how they make it so possible, but that was a great kind of warm up for me because it figured out what style of dress I wanted, like the neckline, the train, and everything. And I thought I found my dress when I went there, but I still had my appointment at Head Couture, and I knew I was really excited to go there. Went there, and the quality of the dresses, the uniqueness of the dresses, like everything was just so beautiful. I took my mum, my sister, and my maid of honor because I trusted what they said, and I invited my husband's mum as well, but she was unable to come. But I just wanted the closest woman in my life to kind of give me the honest opinion, but I was also like, don't be too honest if I really like it.
Yeah. Be kind.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm.
But they were so amazing. They grabbed dresses from just looking at me, what they think I'd like. I didn't even tell them what I liked. It's just like, well, I think I like this train or this neckline. I thought going in, I'd want really something super simple and elegant, kind of like Meghan Markle style. And then the first dress that I tried on was the complete opposite, like super detailed, and it was very elegant though. I tried that on, and it was just like I had that moment.
Mm.
I found the dress. And what made it even more special was that as soon as I wore it, like put it on, opened the curtains, and I saw, all the girls there, my sister started bawling out with tears. I just started crying, and then we all started crying, and I was like, okay, I think this is the one. But it was just so beautiful, and the girls there are so, so lovely. I had a beautiful experience at both. But yeah, I just love how unique they are, and I'd never seen anything like it, and it was completely different to what I thought. So I definitely do recommend it, trying on so many things that you didn't think you'd like, even if the workers there kind of push you out of your comfort zone, because you could end up with something completely different. And I did, and I was obsessed with it, and I loved it, and I loved that there was so many options I could do with that dress too, with like the sleeves and everything. It was just so perfect.
Oh, I love that you had that moment, so special, and sharing that, yeah, with your most important woman. I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I need a dress that's like what I would normally wear, but I feel like bridal's so different and it's
Yeah.
such a moment. So, like, think outside the box, and
Mhm.
yeah, so cool to hear that. So,
Yeah.
you had a bridal party as well. How was that process choosing them? Did you find that easy?
It was really easy for me actually. I have a really tight knit group of girlfriends, and we all do everything together. And then I have my sister, and I knew that when I had my bridal party, I couldn't not have one of those people because they're all so important to me. And so that was really easy. I just knew I wanted them and my sister. Obviously, it was a little bit of a bigger bridal party. I had 5 bridesmaids. But then when I talked to my fiance at the time and asked him, you know, who are you thinking for your groomsmen? Because I wanted it to be all even and things. He had probably 5 or 6 people that he was wanting, even 7. And he's like, I could narrow it down just so it's nice and even. Because, yeah, we don't want it to be, I just like it nice and
Yeah,
aesthetically
yeah,
pleasing.
fair.
But it was really easy. And for me, it was not a second thought to have my sister there. And he had his 2 brothers, and then we had our friends. And so they were both friends from either we've known since we were in primary school or friends from high school, and they all kind of know each other and got along really well. So it was a super easy process for us, and they were amazing.
Oh, so good. Love that. And how about the guest list? Was that a tricky process narrowing that down?
It was a little bit tricky. When we wrote our priorities down at the start of the year, we also wrote down all the people that we could ever think of that would want to be a part of our day. And that was kind of nice. We both had our moment to write down like our family and our friends. And then we talked about, how many people we were wanting. We kind of wanted it to be slightly intimate and not too big, but not so intimate that we couldn't have so many people there that we wanted there as well. So obviously family was super important for both of us, and lucky for us, a lot of our friends are the same. So that wasn't too tricky. Obviously I work for myself, so I didn't have lots of colleagues that I needed to worry about inviting. He did on the other hand, but I'm also really good friends with them, so that was probably not really an issue. I think we wanted to invite no more than like 80 to 90, and we ended up inviting about 110. But then a lot of people were from overseas, like America and Australia, and a lot of people couldn't come. Maybe they were a little bit older and couldn't travel. So we did end up getting our number that we wanted, which worked out pretty good. I think we had like 88 people in the end.
Nice.
So it was a
Yeah.
pretty good number, and it meant that we didn't feel stressed and overwhelmed on the day having to say hi to everyone. And what made it easy for us too is after our ceremony, we just propped ourselves at the top of the hill, and as everyone walked past to kind of go to the cocktail hour, we just said hi and gave everyone a quick hug. And that meant if we couldn't have a conversation with them later, we did say hi, and that was really nice, but it wasn't overwhelming. I feel like the number was really good for us.
Yeah, that's quite a nice place to land, definitely. So
Yeah.
good. Can you tell us about the big day, maybe that week leading up as well, and yeah, how it all went? Any highlights or favorite moments?
Oh my gosh, the day was just insane. I just honestly want to keep reliving it over and over again. I'm so grateful for how it kind of panned out. Even the process before the wedding, I'm someone who gets stressed and overwhelmed quite easily, but I actually was pretty chilled and calm until about like 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding. I was getting a little bit more nervous, and all the little things kept piling up on top of each other for me. And I was thinking, how am I going to get this done before? And blah, 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 blah. But everything was pretty good. I had a really good support system around me. Obviously, my husband was really helpful. And then my family, I did a lot of the DIYs myself to try and save money on that end. So I made like the signs and the menus and all that stuff. Got a beautiful cricket machine for Christmas, so that helped
So
with
good.
that. And I think one weekend I went to mum's and we were cutting out fabric together. And then another day I had my maid of honor over and we chucked on some Kardashians on the TV and just had a little chat and did the DIYs. So that was really nice having that support system around. And everyone was so helpful, constantly asking, what can I do to help? So that aspect was really nice. I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I like to have things a certain way. And I knew that if I wanted my day to be the way I wanted it to be, I'd have to be very honest and communicate that in a way that wasn't harsh, but got my point across. And luckily, everyone was so helpful. Like the day before, we had all of our bridal party come over. My mum was making all the flowers, dad was helping her. I had all the bridesmaids help me set all the tables up. And then all the guys came over and everything was kind of done by the time they came over, to be honest. But everyone was super helpful and hands-on. So that made the experience really great. And that meant that on the day, we didn't really have to do much. I think on the morning, the only little things I did was pop like our sun umbrellas and our ceremony pamphlets kind of like on the pews just in case it rained the night before. It wasn't too much, and it was really nice just kind of making that stress free. The morning went really well. I woke up really early with the girls and they surprised me with a beautiful book for Letters to the Bride and got my maid of honor organized it, and she got all of my family members and friends to write me a lovely little letter. So that was a really nice way to start the day, especially before the makeup as well.
Yeah.
And it was really nice just to kind of chill out. We got to watch the sunrise, and then all the hair and makeup team arrived, and we kind of got into it. I was very organized before the wedding. I made timelines for every person and made it all, like, stuck them all on the wall on the morning of, so that everyone could see where they needed to be. And I think that helped the morning run a lot smoother. The only thing I would say was I didn't realize how much time it took for photos. And I wish I cut a little bit more time out for that, because the guys actually booked the Airbnb 5 minutes down the road. So it wasn't too far, but we had them go to the boys the first thing in the morning and take photos of them getting ready, just for like 30 minutes. Probably should have used a bit more time. I was not
The
aware.
guys.
And then I expected them to come all the way and do our getting ready photos. And I think because of my planning and my timeline, I should have left a bit more time. So they were running a little bit late, and I obviously had everything to a T. So we did end up starting the ceremony 30 minutes later. That was the only thing. But if I knew that, I would have obviously put out more time. That was like the only stressful thing in the morning, is obviously everyone was waiting, and I could start seeing guests kind of getting up from their seats and getting drink from the bar, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even in my dress yet. But apart from that, like, the morning was pretty smooth. I had a first look with all of the parents. I had a first look with my mother and father-in-law, which was really special to kind of have that moment, because they don't have a daughter as well. So I knew that I'd want to kind of give them that. And then I had one with my dad, which was super, super special, because I'm very close with him. And then my mum helped me put my dress on. And then I had a first look with all my bridesmaids. So that was beautiful. Although I was, having a nice little time at home, I didn't realize the guys were still waiting at the top of the aisle. And apparently Beckam was almost having like a panic attack, because he was like, where is she? Is she going to show up? But it was all good in the end. We got there, we got down the aisle, and the ceremony went so smoothly. The cocktail hour, we had a little bit of extra time because we did a champagne tower, and obviously we got photos with the bridal party, and then family photos and couple photos. And I think having that cocktail hour time between the ceremony and reception was a really good buffer, because if we were running late or ahead of time, it kind of gave us the extra space and a little bit of wiggle room. And then everyone was kind of ready to, eat and have dinner. So it went really smoothly into the reception, and we all did a really fun entrance song. I got like heart sunglasses for all the bridal party, and we all danced our way in, and that was really fun. I also had an outfit change, well, like same dress but big sleeves for something fun. And I remember like people saying later, I thought you had a whole different dress on, and all like changed the sleeves. But it was quite cool. Took the veil off. It was just meant to be, going from serious to more fun, and it got everyone excited. And we had an amazing MC, one of our really good friends, and he got everyone amped up. And so the reception was just a really fun time. We had our speeches. They were probably my favorite part. I think it's really nice with things like that. There's not many occasions in life where you get to hear people say how they feel about you. And so that was really special. And I surprised Beckam with a song.
So sweet.
Oh, I was so nervous to do it, but I knew that he really wanted that, and it was something that I would regret if I didn't do. And I got my uncle to play the guitar, and we did that. So that was quite special, doing something different like that, and no one expected it as well. His reaction was so funny. He was just falling. It was so cute. It was so sweet. And we did our cake cutting, and we had a first dance, and we actually did a dance with I did dance with my dad, and he did dance with his mum, which I feel like doesn't really happen in New Zealand. I feel like it's more American, but it was really nice because we both have special relationships with them, and I think it was nice for them to kind of feel included as well. And me and dad's dance was a little bit of a surprise. We ended with something a little bit of fun. He pulled out a glove trying to be Michael Jackson, a moonwalk, and that was really cool because it really amped everyone up to get onto the dance floor. I really wanted the day to run smoothly, so I did so much planning in that timeline, and it did run really smoothly. So I'm really glad about that. But yeah, the day was just so amazing, and even in our ceremony, I really wanted to do a prayer because I grew up in a Christian household, and Beckam actually didn't really have anything like that growing up, and I kind of wanted to have something like that in there, and it was really beautiful. It was just a moment for us to all kind of be thankful, and did a prayer over our marriage, and it was really sweet. And then even exiting our ceremony, something different we did was playing a fun song, and we all were like dancing down the aisle, and I think everyone was kind of shocked by that. I was so close to doing a choreographed dance, but everyone hated me if I made to do that. But it was so fun. I just wanted to throw in little things and bits of inspiration that I got from other weddings that I've been to. And mum and dad actually did a YMCA dance at their wedding. So I was like, I have to do something like that. But it was really, really cool. The whole day was just perfect.
Yeah, oh, sounds like such an amazing day. I love all the personal, meaningful touches and just like moments where you can make it fun because sometimes it can be serious. But
Yeah.
yeah, just having fun with it. And I love how you said as well about being super organized, which might seem a bit crazy when you're doing it, but then makes you so chilled on the day. And I've said that before on the podcast, but the most chilled brides are the super organized ones. So
Definitely.
it pays having that timeline and making a plan. Love that. What did you find the hardest part about the whole wedding planning process? Is there anything you look back on and regret or would have done a little bit differently?
There was a couple little things that probably wouldn't have gone our way, and I think no one else realized apart from me and Beckham, obviously, because we knew all the behind the scenes. One of them was obviously creating more time for the photos because, well, that's not my strong point, the photography, so I didn't really know much about it. But that whole 30 minutes late was a little bit stressful for everyone. So I think doing that. And also, I had a full Pinterest board inspiration slideshow that I made on Canva of all the kind of photos that I did want. And it meant that the photographers could kind of see my vibe and see what I really liked. So that was really cool. The venue guys were really chilled as well, which is nice. But because I'm such an organized person, I was like, oh, a little bit nervous. I think we got to the venue the day before, and they had actually set our ceremony up in a different location, and we were like, we actually we're having it down here. But what was so cool is that they literally changed it within 30 minutes. Like it was so easy. They were like, cool, no problem. So that was really cool. It meant that, if you were worried about changing your wet weather option or something, they can change it really quickly. I think also having a wedding day coordinator or a wedding planner was something I really regret not doing. I think because I'm such an organized person, I was saying, no, I can do it. We'll save money. I'll be able to smash all that out. And I did do a lot, but I think having someone else there, especially on the day, would have just been so nice. Someone that could have been my voice to kind of communicate to other people so that I didn't have to. And it meant that all of the bridal party and me could all just kind of relax as well. That is something I definitely do regret. I think even just someone through the process that can kind of deal with all the communication side of things would have been nice, because I definitely did get a little bit more overwhelmed, like I said, closer to the wedding. And I think having that would have prevented that slightly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But everything else I feel went pretty smoothly, honestly. And the food was amazing. And we were worried actually with the food because the caterers that we went with didn't do any in person taste testing or anything. And we were really nervous because we obviously had no idea what the food tasted like. And he was also very chilled, which was so nice and easy to communicate to. But we were kind of just like going in the dark with what we chose for our menu. And it turned out so good. Everyone could not stop talking about the food, and we were just so grateful. They were so lovely. The food was so good that there was like no leftovers the next day as well. Everyone demolished it. I wish I wasn't as nervous to like do my speech and sing my song so I could eat more, but
Yeah.
that was really amazing. And everyone was so good. Even our celebrant, she's one of our friends. She was really lovely. She kind of got everyone in their seats when everyone was rustling around at the start, and that went really smooth. And mum was amazing. She did all the flowers. Just so many things went well. There's only those little things that I would probably change differently. Even though I'm an organized person, having someone else would have just been great. Even if you're not someone who's organized and someone who's super relaxed, having someone else to deal with that, I just feel like would be so helpful.
Yeah, such good advice. I think even like you say, just having the advocate for you to just like take over the comms and then the like questions and everything, just fully giving up that control on the day to
Yeah.
someone else. But yeah, I mean, definitely sounds like you were super organized and on top of it. A key vendor that comes up a lot. It's really helpful to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you guys have a wedding budget, if you're happy to talk about what that was? And yeah, how did you find that whole side of things?
We did have a wedding budget. Beckam had no idea how much weddings
Mm.
cost. I think as most men do, they don't really have much idea about all that. I think for what I do as a job, that kind of gave me a little bit of grace because I knew a little bit more insight into the whole wedding industry, and things do cost a lot. But even then, we had a budget of 30K, I think we started with. That doubled.
Yeah. It's like that would have gone quick.
And I think we definitely could have done it for that price for sure, but I would have sacrificed a lot of things instead because I still wanted it to feel really nice and have those little things. So I'm glad that we did go a little bit over budget, but even then, I just think have a little bit of extra room. When you think you do have a budget, you're always going to go over. He thought we could do it in 10K.
Mm. You could have eloped. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very different wedding. I mean, I've heard people that do that, and I still like, how do they do that? Because
You do just have to sacrifice so much. Yeah, like you can, but yeah, it would look very different.
yeah, and I mean, we were so grateful because both of our families helped us a little bit as well. And even then, we saved like a year and a half, 2 years before, and we were still spending more and more money, which meant that our honeymoon was a little bit more relaxed. And that was okay because I wanted our wedding day to be really special and worthwhile. But even then, we had help. So we got a little bit of a discount on the makeup. Obviously, being in the industry helps. And our family friend, she made our wedding cake as our wedding gift, which was so nice because they are so expensive. And obviously, me and mum owning our flower business helped immensely because that's such a huge cost for weddings. And it meant that we could get all the flowers wholesale. She wasn't charging me for her service, you know. She made all the arch, all the little arrangements for just love, which was so nice. And then my bridesmaid and bride bouquets were super simple. I just literally grabbed a bunch of calla lilies and tied them together for my bride bouquet, and then my bridesmaid just tied some ribbon around some calla lilies for them. So that was super nice. And then obviously our celebrant, being a family friend, helped us save money in that aspect. But with our priorities, we knew that we'd want to put most of our money into those things. So it was going to be more food, venue, and photography. And they tend to be the most expensive, but they are so worthwhile. So if you are wanting to spend more money on those things, it's definitely worth it. Even though we did go over budget, I wouldn't change anything. Everything was just the way I wanted it to be.
No, I love that. So helpful
Yeah.
for people to hear. So, what did you end up doing for your honeymoon? Did you go somewhere straight after?
Yeah, we actually took, I think, like 3 days after the wedding just to be at home. And that was really nice because you go from such a high at the wedding. And obviously, because we were getting married somewhere else, like an hour and a half from where we live, we had all our suitcases and stuff and our dress and suit. So that was nice to come home and unpack that and open our wedding presents and just kind of chill out and have a couple of days to talk about the wedding and relax. and then pack and get ready for our honeymoon. I totally recommend. I don't know how people go straight after, like the day after.
Stressful. Yeah.
So stressed. So that was really nice. And even then, it still felt like it was just after the wedding because it was within that week. And we went to the Gold Coast for our honeymoon. So it was really nice. I wanted to do nothing but chill because I was so tired. And Beckam wanted to do all the things, all the adventure. So we knew that if we went somewhere like that, we could do a bit of both. Bad timing for us, though. We did go straight after the cyclone and we didn't realize. So the beaches weren't as nice for the sunbathing and all that. Even then, it was just so nice to get away and just have time off work. And we went to beautiful restaurants, tried all the beautiful foods, went on bike rides, did all the theme parks. And it was just so cool because it wasn't far away either. And I think it got us in our little travel mode. So I think we're going to save for a couple bigger trips. We'd love to go to the States and Canada or do something big like that. We were wanting to do that originally for our honeymoon. Obviously, once we realized how much the wedding was going to cost, we had to kind of reevaluate.
Yeah. Oh, more to look forward to later.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, oh, so good. Love the Gold Coast. Yeah, nice and relaxed and lots to do as well. So,
Yeah.
so good. Did you have any kind of helpful resources that you used during the planning process? I imagine you knew a bunch of vendors already, kind of been in the industry, and yeah, had all those family and friends helping as well. But yeah, anything else you kind of used for finding people or inspiration, stuff like that?
I found, even though people say Pinterest can be annoying, I do really love it because it's like an online scrapbook. And as someone who's so creative, you can just grab all this inspiration, pin it to your board, and then you can, like, I created slideshows for everything of what I wanted. I think I did a slideshow for the makeup and got all the bridesmaids to send what they wanted. So that was all ready to go, like the hair, the photos, the flowers, everything. So Canva I used to create all that. So that was super helpful. Just something virtual that I can create my little scrapbook and see everything. I actually used the wedding website Say I Do, and that was really helpful for us because we didn't have to spend so much on invitations. We could, it is a little bit of a Gen Z thing to do. But we did do virtual invitations, and instead we just did save the dates that we sent out, so people could have those as a hard copy and put them on their fridge. And I think that saved our money, so people could still have something to keep, but all the wedding information, because there's so much that you have to say. It was so helpful using that website platform, and it meant that we could put all of our guests' information in there. And it also had a little extension where we did for our like gift registry, we asked for funds, for our honeymoon and all that stuff. So we used Love Reggie for that, and it was all included with the Say I Do website, and it meant people could just click on a button to help us, and it was all there, and it meant we could send thank you emails straight from that as well. So that was really helpful. Even finding inspiration again, as well as Pinterest, I used all the Together journals. They were so helpful. I literally bought the issue every month or every quarterly from when we got engaged to when we got married. So I have a stack of them sitting on my cabinet, and I'm going to keep those forever.
They're just like nice coffee table books as well. They're so
They're so
pretty.
beautiful. And it's kind of cool, a little keepsake of what wedding trends were happening when we were getting married. That was so helpful. And just social media as well was amazing.
Oh, so good. Love that. And you've given lots of amazing advice already, but yeah, any kind of advice that you would say to an engaged couple planning their wedding at the moment?
I think don't stress too much about the whole ordeal of wedding planning because I was so worried going into it. Oh, it's going to be this big stressful thing, but it doesn't have to be. We had a really nice experience planning the wedding, and even having that time of just being engaged and not even going straight into wedding planning was really nice for us. If you are someone who doesn't want to go straight into that, that was really nice time, and time for us to kind of think about what we wanted to do without feeling rushed, looking at your priorities and what's most important to you, booking in your venue straight away, and then you can kind of work around things from that so you have your date. And then I really recommend getting a wedding planner or wedding coordinator. I just regret not doing that, and I so wish I did. And I just thought I can save the money there, but definitely regret not doing that. Yeah.
No, such good advice. And what is married life like now? Do you feel like you got the post-wedding blues at all?
I definitely did.
Yeah.
I got the post-wedding blues so hard, but I'm someone who's so sentimental as well. So I always look back at so many moments in life and keep trying to relive it in my brain. And it's such a big moment. You just want to keep reliving it and reliving it. And I mean, realistically, it's only half a day that you kind of get for your wedding if you do that, because you spend the other half getting ready. And it just goes by so fast for how long you've been preparing for it. So I definitely got the wedding blues. But it was really nice too when we got our photos and videos and everything back. One thing I do also really recommend was getting a content creator. Our really good friend, well, my friend from primary school, Brooke, she also was one of the hairstylists for the day. Because we had such a big bridal party, we had obviously 5 bridesmaids and me, and then both mums. There was 8 of us getting ready. I booked 2 makeup artists and 2 hairstylists, and I definitely recommend that if you've got a bigger party and you want everyone to get ready for a certain time. It just leaves less stress to the vendors as well. And I know
You don't have to
some of
wake
them.
up so early. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was really good to do that. But so she did the hair in the morning, and then she was doing the content creating straight from that right until midnight almost. She was amazing. And that was so cool because we got our photos and videos the day after, almost like 2 days after. And so that was really nice to look back on after the wedding. It kind of made us relive those moments. And even we didn't do like a guest book, we did an audio message book. And they were a company in Auckland that I found online, and it was so cool because people could leave like a little telephone message on like an old vintage telephone, and we got all those back a week after our wedding, and we were on our honeymoon listening to them, and it was just so fun hearing everyone progressively get drunker and drunker
Yeah.
in the messages. But that was cool. I think those little moments and things we did to look back on the wedding was nice. So I kind of felt like I could keep reliving it, sort of.
Yeah, so important. I think that's like all the stuff you have after the day. And yeah, I'm super sentimental as well. So I totally get that. Love to chat a bit about what you do. And if you could firstly just tell me a bit about you, your kind of background, and yeah, a bit of an overview of what led you to where you are today.
Yeah, well, I am a bridal makeup artist, but I also specialize in event makeup and lashes and brows and spray tanning. I've always been into beauty growing up. I was always the one grabbing mum's eyelash curler and trying to curl my lashes and do all that stuff. I didn't know I would be doing it as a career. I didn't think it was possible. But I love now there's so much more opportunity to do that. And it was actually my friends who encouraged me to start my makeup business. And because I was always the designated friend in the group that did the makeup for everyone.
There's always one.
Yeah, always one. That was me. And so they were really nice for doing that, kind of stepped me out of my comfort zone. And I did start it straight after COVID. So it was, or just before COVID. So it was quite a scary time to start, but it was so much fun. And I love making other women feel more confident in their skin. I think anything that I was going to do after school, it had to be with a purpose and made me happy. And every day I wake up and I love what I do. And I think that's so important. And I feel so grateful to be raised in a household that is all about doing what you want to do. Yeah, I always make women feel better when they leave my studio, and it makes me feel so good. And definitely loving wedding makeup as well, because I think it's such a special moment in someone's life, and getting to be able to be chosen to do that for someone is just so special and rewarding. And being amongst them is amazing. And I did have, me and mum were owning the floristry business, but we have just said goodbye to that to focus on other avenues. But that was really cool, doing that for a little bit, and obviously helped for the wedding as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Some talented business women in your family and creatives, which is so good. So cool to hear. And did you do Gabby's Academy as well? Or you just
No,
worked with
I
her, have
didn't.
worked with her? Yeah.
Yeah, I just taught myself through the years, and I've obviously just been able to meet so many other makeup artists through what I do, which is really cool. But I did help her for a wedding. time, yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, I feel like there's a really cool community of makeup artists and that kind of beauty scene in the Waikato as well. So so good. Yeah, can you tell us about the kind of different services? You sort of touched on them there, but yeah, what you do at Skye Beauty.
Yeah, so my most popular service is probably makeup. I mean, it is what I started with, and mostly specialize in event and bridal makeup, making others feel more confident in their skin. And then I did do spray tanning for a little bit after I started makeup. I just wanted something else that people could kind of add on as a service. And it's so good for weddings too, because when I have a bride coming in for makeup, I can be like, do you need a spray tan as well? And it's really great for us to have that relationship built up before the wedding day as well. And then I do lash extensions, lash lifts, brow laminations, and then all the brow works and things like that, which is so much fun because I've always loved getting them done for myself growing up, and now doing them for other people is really cool.
I love that. So cool that you have all those services if brides want to do like one-stop shop with you for
Yeah.
everything. It has to be like a part of that. And yeah, I don't know, a bit more like you've pulled together the whole look. So what does the process look like when someone books you for their wedding day? Can you chat us through that a little bit? Do you recommend they have a trial? Yeah, what does that look like?
I think when booking your makeup artist, if you really want a certain makeup artist, book them as soon as you can. Obviously, we can get booked out quite quickly with weddings. And as soon as you've got them booked, you can relax because we don't really need to do your bridal trial until 1 to 3 months before the wedding. I only like to do them that close to the wedding so that the look is still fresh in your mind. It also gives you time to think about what you kind of want for your wedding day makeup too. And then if you did try a look on your bridal trial and wanted to do something different, you have time to come back in and do another trial. I always love doing trial with brides. I really recommend it. Obviously, sometimes it's hard if they're traveling from far away or you're traveling from far away. But if you can, it's so worthwhile because it's a chance for them to kind of hit the vibe check and see if you guys get along, and also just see how you do your work on their face, because you can see a photo online and see what that looks like, but it's always so different when you actually get to experience it. And it's a really good chance for me also to have a really set plan for what you want for your wedding day. I know I always write down everything that I've used, products, steps, everything, so that on the wedding morning, it's a super smooth, seamless process for the bride. And we know exactly what we're doing and we can just do the makeup look and don't have to worry about anything else. Because even when you do get your bridal trial, 1 to 3 months before your wedding, it might be perfect then. And you might think a week before, oh, I actually really want to change this. And I'd so much rather you think that than look back on your wedding day and think, dang, I wish I did that instead. So it's such a recommendation.
So good. Love that. It makes so much sense to do it. And I always say, like, do it for a date night or your engagement party, or if you're doing a shoot or something, like with your hens, whatever, kind of plan it around that. So the makeup gets to go out kind of thing. But yeah, so good.
For sure.
Can we talk a bit about pre-wedding makeup prep? I feel like having that kind of great base and foundation makes such a difference for your makeup. And yeah, do you have any kind of tips for brides and what they can do to make sure their skin's looking and feeling their best on the day?
Yep. Honestly, I can just say the simpler, the better. Drink as much water as you can. Hydration is so important for the skin. I feel when I'm dehydrated, my makeup always looks dull and just never, my face never looks awake or alive or glowy. And obviously, you want to feel as glowy and beautiful as you can on your wedding day. So, drink as much water as possible, especially that week leading up. Drink more than you think you need. I know there's facials that you can do for hydration and things as well, but I always find the most difference when the hydration comes from within. It's just as simple as drinking more water. I think if you've got acne prone skin or you tend to break out more, you don't want to try anything too different too soon before your wedding because you could risk something happening worse. I think keep it super simple. Obviously, if you have a skincare kind of journey that you're wanting to go on, do that maybe this like 6 to 12 months leading up before your wedding day with your skin specialist, and then that month to 2 weeks before your wedding, keep it super simple. Don't change or try anything too new. You can always do the LED light treatments, and they're super good because they flatten any breakouts that you might have and also dull the redness down a little bit. And I did that before my wedding. I think I had a couple before, and it definitely made a difference. Yeah, but I would just say that. Just keep it super simple and just drink lots of water.
Yeah, so good. Such important advice,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah. Have you noticed any kind of trends with wedding makeup lately, or yeah, what you think we'll be seeing more of?
I have noticed a lot of like bespoke soft glam. I think a lot more people are being a lot more confident to kind of strip it back a lot more and make them still feel like themselves, which I love because you want to feel like yourself and you want to look like yourself and you want the person you're going to marry make sure they're looking at you and no one else, but you also want to feel confident. So I think finding that balance is really nice. Yeah, I have noticed a lot of that soft glam and I'm so for it. You know, blushy, glowy skin, a little bit of bronze, a spray tan never hurt because you just look so much better with spray tan.
You just feel so much better, I
So
feel
much
like.
better.
Yeah.
You feel toned and ready to take on the world. Yeah, I just think I've noticed a lot more, yes, stripped back, individual lashes. We're not seeing as much full glam, cut crease, heavy eye, heavy lip kind of thing going on, which I do love, but I think the soft glam is definitely taking over. And I think it's nice because we're able to feel like ourselves a lot more and bring in that beauty, which is really cool.
Yeah, beautiful. Love that. Do you have any kind of tips for people when they're looking for their makeup artist and yeah, trying to find the right fit for their day?
Yeah, I think social media is really cool. It's like the new digital way of a portfolio. You get to see what people do and their work. And I think even trialing makeup artists for events you have coming up before you want to book them, if you have that time, is really cool to see kind of their work and what it looks like on your skin. Once you kind of have that idea of what you like, usually makeup artists kind of have their signature style, and you can kind of see that really easily through what they post online. And I think it's a really cool way of seeing what you like and how that aligns with you. Obviously, every makeup artist has their own technique and own style, and it's always completely different. So I think, yeah, testing it with event makeup or just seeing what they post is a really cool way to see if it aligns with you.
Love that. Such good advice. You've given loads of amazing advice. Is there anything else that you would say, kind of from that beauty perspective, to engaged couples or mainly the bride? Let's be honest.
I can't really think of anything else, to be honest. I think keep it simple, make yourself feel great, but don't. I think a lot of people who are booking their wedding makeup, they think, oh, I need to feel super glam on the day. But if that's not you, if you're someone who is more natural and doesn't wear that much makeup, stick with that and just do it a little bit more elevated. And if you're someone who does really like full glam makeup, then that's what you got to do for your day because that's who you are. I try and tell brides to not be a completely different person, just be yourself. And that will speak through as well on your wedding day. But yeah, that's all I can really think of. Just be yourself and keep it simple.
So good. It's been so lovely to chat to you today. I know people are going to get a lot out of this episode. So thank you so
Oh,
much for coming on.
thank you so much for having me.